Welcome to the Customer-Led Growth series, where I get to talk with Trustmary's amazing partners. My name is Erica, and I do marketing at Trustmary. And today I'm talking about the importance of Google reviews for businesses that work also in the B2B world, as well as B2C. And I'm having the marketing team lead from GoSome. Welcome, Sakke Tiitinen. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Erica, for having me. Happy to be here.
Great. Let's jump right in. So please introduce yourself. Who are you? What have you done during your career? And what are you in charge of now?
Perfect. So as you already said, my name is Sakke Tiitinen, and I'm the marketing team lead at GoSome. I'm currently in charge of our marketing unit's performance and people and everything pretty much related to that. So processes, team development, personal development, and so forth. Most of my background is in marketing, but I do have quite diverse background. I did study in the States for 5 years, lived there, played hockey for 20. I've done some sales and done some like business and marketing consultation as well. So mainly in marketing, but also in hockey and other things as well.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Where in the States were you? Pretty unrelated, but I want to know.
I did live in 4 different states. So Ohio, New York, so upstate New York, Vermont, and then kind of here and there all over the place. Mainly the East Coast.
Oh, great. And also nice to hear that you've done some sales, because I think it really helps when you're doing marketing, because you know how the end of the funnel also goes.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's kind of crucial to understand that marketing and sales are kind of one and the same. It's often being joked that how marketing hates sales and sales hate marketing, but in reality, they both need each other really much. So I think it gives you a really nice kind of background and foundation.
Yeah, I totally agree. So please tell me, what does GoSome do? Like, what is the vision behind the company?
Oh, absolutely. So our vision is basically to be the most sought after digital marketing partner in Finland. And what do we do is obviously digital marketing. So we're a digital marketing agency that provides solutions to support and boost company sales and digital marketing. So digital sales and digital marketing kind of go hand in hand, as we discussed before.
True. Okay. And who are your current customers like? Like, what are they like? What type of companies?
Most of our customers are really kind of SMEs from Finland, but our clientele still consists of really small companies all the way up till publicly listed companies. We basically focus on giving, supporting companies no matter where they are at their journey in providing concrete and measurable way of doing marketing, and basically focus on delivering value and supporting the sales and the company goals. So for some people or for some companies, this means, beginning of the customer journey and the pipe of customer acquisition all the way to customer retention on a concrete level. This means basically advertising and websites for others, for bigger companies and for more complex situations. We also do basically from marketing strategy to the execution of it. So everything from websites to advertising and strategy.
Okay, so you're a 360 house. You can do everything.
In a way, yes, but not in a way that we're too 360 of not really doing anything well.
Okay, yeah.
We really focus on bringing like concrete measurable results, not just, a brand house or whatnot, but.
Yeah. Great. Good to know. And then now that we know some context of who you are and what your company does, or the company you work for does, so let's talk about Google reviews. Do you still think they're going to be important in 2025?
To answer shortly, yes. Absolutely. After all the reviews are useful. Public ones can be used for customer satisfaction and displaying the experience your customers have had to persuade potential customers. Bad ones or private ones can be obviously used for improving discrepancies between good and bad experiences and fixing your own processes or whatnot. And as Google is still the most used search engine in the world, I believe they have about 90% of the market share. And the Google reviews are heavily integrated into the search engine. Obviously, being so dominant in the industry of being search engine and people using it a lot, it obviously comes kind of hand in hand of, are they useful, are they important? So yes.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna challenge you a little and actually ask for your opinion on, is it as important for B2B companies as it is for B2C? Because I consider myself as a consumer, I'm looking for like local businesses and how their Google reviews are, but for B2B, I'm not too sure. So what's your view?
Well, we can dive in deeper onto the benefits at some point, but because it is so heavily integrated onto the search engine, the benefits of having higher click-through rates, having improved search engine optimization, and other things that come with it are obviously are not industry dependent. So no matter if you're B2B or B2C, if you're higher up on the search engine, you're being clicked more. Obviously, every company, if you're a regulated business, if you're not highly regulated in an industry that's not highly regulated, it doesn't really matter. Of course, all the reviews on B2C side are easily said that they're more important, but overall, I'd say B2B and B2C are both relevant.
Yeah, I agree on you with that. So what about the point of view from your customers? Are they also are B2B companies as interested in Google reviews and how their profile is there as B2C companies in your experience?
In my opinion, B2B companies often think that any kind of reviews are not that important. It's mainly references that count, and big name houses, huge references that matter. But at the end of the day, the customer on the other side, no matter if it's a B2B buying a $1 billion thing or a B2C customer buying a sticker of €2, it's still a person on the other end. And if you get reviews that are bad, you're most likely to lean towards ones that are not. So,
True.
So in my opinion, you're right in the matter that B2B companies often kind of ignore the reviews, but should they? I don't think so.
Yeah, good point, actually. So based on this, do you think the relevancy of Google reviews is increasing or decreasing?
As of now, I would say that they are increasing. More and more people use Google as a search engine each day, every month. Google as a business is growing. How will AI affect, search engine, or how Google does their search engine is kind of still unclear, obviously, as for anyone. But as of now, I would say they are increasing. And I believe that at some point it might change how it works and so forth. But I don't think the relevancy of it will be decreasing for quite a while.
Yeah, it's also interesting to think that with all the algorithm changes and the age of AI, it might even be that the actual experiences of people become more important down the line. So
absolutely.
I do agree that it's something each company should think about, like, how do we appear? Like, what is our online reputation like? And Google reviews are a part of that, even if you are a B2B company, unfortunately.
Yes, exactly. And of course, people often ask that, we sell B2B and we're not getting, Trustmary is not commenting on our Google reviews, what they think. But at the end of the day, like I said earlier, there are people behind it. So it doesn't really matter if the experience comes from somebody at Trustmary or somebody at Google rather than it comes from Erica.
Yeah, that is true. Very true. And what about reviews in general, like bringing in a bigger context? Like, should companies focus solely on Google reviews, or are there other options as well? Because there are so many different review platforms out there. So what's your take on this?
My take on this is an answer for a great question that I always use in situations like this. Is it really depends. People hate the answer, but it's kind of the cheap shot there. But if you need a cheap, effective, easy way to gather reviews, your business is highly regulated. You're a local business, whatnot. It can be really good to have Google reviews. It probably is the best way to gather reviews and whatnot. But depends on your goals. If they're more complicated, you want more automation, you want more specified questionnaires, you want to handle your reviews from all of the sources from one spot or whatnot, the needs might be different.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on your goals. Also depends what industry level you're in and what country you're in. For example, in Denmark, which is I think home of Trustpilot, Trustpilot is really huge platform. But for example, in Finland, like not many companies or people use Trustpilot in comparison to Denmark. So it depends on the country, depends on your business, your industry, what you want. So yes, people should still focus on Google reviews. Do other reviews work fine as well? Absolutely. Really depends on your what you want to gain from gathering the reviews. Is it internal process development, as mentioned before, or is it you just want publicly showcase how good you are?
True. And you also mentioned earlier references. So it might be more important for some companies to have references and testimonials rather than these third-party reviews. So it's all based on basically your competition, what they are doing, how the market is looking like. And yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, with the uprise of AI, if we can say that, as you mentioned, people testimonials, people experiences become more important. So does that mean that more and more reviews that are given in a video format or other formats, will they become more important? And as of now, I don't see many, video Google reviews. So once again, really depends what you need.
Oh, that's also very interesting. I've never thought about that, but yeah, you cannot leave a video review on Google. Like, there is no functionality for that, but it might bring that, because I'm sometimes suspicious of even Google reviews, even though you need to have an account. There's this American company, Fake Review Watch, I think it's called, that is actually like trying to pinpoint find out and expose companies who have bought reviews. Mm-hmm. So they have a whole formula of how to find those. And then I don't think every single person they're looking for companies go through that trouble of finding out if they're actually fake reviews or not, because you can totally buy those as well. But the video thing, deep fake is also here. So it's really difficult nowadays to kind of show that this is from a real person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. And then when we are going to the industry level, so you mentioned that kind of everyone should pay attention to their Google reviews, but do you see any industries who should not pay any attention? Like they don't need Google reviews at all. Can you think of any industries like that?
Really tough question. I wouldn't say that nobody like there's one certain business or industry that you can just ignore Google reviews or ignore all the reviews. But if we really want to like dig in and come up with something, I would say something like highly or extremely niche service or a product. If you're the only one in the world or only one in the country providing that service or providing that product, does it really matter if you have 0 reviews, if you have bad reviews, or if you have excellent reviews? If you're the only one that can provide the thing that somebody needs and there are no substitutes, doesn't really matter if even your operation is at a good level. It's just a great product or a great niche thing you offer. I would say that's the only case where somebody wouldn't need reviews or Google reviews. Other than that, I would say they're always, there's no harm done if you have reviews.
True.
Especially if they're positive.
Yeah, true. True as well. And then what came to my mind as well is like huge brands. Like, have you seen any reviews for Coca-Cola or these big fashion brands? Like they more go with we're the most wanted fashion brand in the industry or whatnot. Like they go with the brand image. And I don't think they really focus on customer reviews. So
yeah, that's a good point. I wouldn't say they probably don't like focus too much on it, but at the same time, if you have a Coca-Cola or Chanel or somebody with 15,000 reviews at 1 star, that's probably bad for your brand image as well.
True, very true. Yeah,
but a good point that it probably comes more important when you're not operating on on a scale of a Coca-Cola or P&G.
Yeah. Interesting. And then what about the benefits of having Google reviews? Because you work with many different types of companies and many different types of industries. So what are the core benefits of actually having Google reviews that are good?
Yeah. Really, obviously, once again, really depends. But if we think about like concrete, easy to measure things, it's obviously cheap. It's easy to set up. It's universal, as mentioned before. I think for example, it's, as I mentioned, it's heavily integrated into the search engine, which means it's heavily also integrated to Google Maps. And there are roughly 1 to 2 billion people using Google Maps each month, which means that, if you have good reviews, you rank higher up in the Google Maps. People see the reviews really quickly. So it's cheap, it's universal, it's effective. Because of that, it provides search engine optimization benefits. And through that, it also helps websites with CTR, so click-through rates. So there are very concrete benefits of having Google reviews. Of course, also the fact of overall having reviews and what you gain from those. Once again, bad reviews, good reviews, you can use them publicly. You can use them to fix your, mistakes or discrepancies between customer service levels. So it really depends what you do. For highly regulated businesses, the benefit could be the fact that you can differentiate your product. So banks, other like highly regulated businesses that basically offer the same thing in a little different way or under a little different brand, or a restaurant. If you're choosing a restaurant, you're choosing a bank. Let's say the other one has 15,000 reviews. They're all, average at 4.5, and the other one is 2.2. You're most likely checking up the bank that's bigger, that has better reviews, or the restaurant that's doing better. So from all the things I just listed all the way till actually getting customers easier to become your customers is, I think, a huge benefit.
Yeah, that's also interesting that you mentioned the restaurant thing, because a year ago I did a little research when I was traveling to Prague the first time, and I was looking at Google Maps on which restaurant to choose, and I don't think it even showed me restaurants like that had a lower star rating than 4. Like they just didn't show up on the maps at all because it's really heavily saturated. Like the restaurants there have high ratings and they have hundreds and thousands of those ratings. So it was interesting that I couldn't even find certain restaurants on the map, on Google Maps, if their rating was not as good as the ones next to them. So that's
absolutely, and really, really a concrete example of why you should do it. If you're thinking of shopping or thinking of where to go to eat, or no matter if you're thinking of even B2B companies, Google Maps is so integrated into the search engine of Google that it shows up. If you no matter what business or thing you Google, it shows up in Google Maps as well. Obviously, if it's done right, but still, you kind of don't want to not be there. It's kind of like social media today. It's not a competitive advantage against others or a website. It's expectation that you are there, you're present, you're active. It's not enough to be there. It's expectation you to be there.
Yeah, it's interesting because I wanted to ask, like, oh, well, do people actually go to your office often? Like, do they navigate to your office so that they will look you up on Google Maps? That's also true. When you're doing brand searches, it's gonna show up.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, I hate to repeat myself, but once again, it's still people buying from other people, even it's B2B. True. So if somebody contacts you, you're gonna look them up, and the first thing you see is bad reviews. You're probably kind of thrown off by that.
True. Interesting. When is the last time, by the way, you reviewed a business on Google? Do you do that often?
Give myself reviews to other.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, personally, I don't. I've been trying to cut back on being online, but I also try to avoid generalizing what I do into the majority of people, because a lot of people do give reviews, and of course there are differences between, again, countries and areas. Finns like to give reviews when they're bad, because bad experience is easier to shout out than a really good one. But I've given some reviews when they've been like exceptional.
Yeah, I think this is a Finnish thing, because I also only give reviews if it's really good, or if I felt that that the company kind of deserves a review. Like it would be beneficial for them. Like if it's a really small local company and I want them to be found because I like them a lot, that's when I give a review. But it's not that often that I do that. So
exactly, and it really depends, like from country or area to another. For example, in the US versus Asian countries, for example, US people give approximately 1 to 2 stars higher ratings than in Asia. Like easier. Oh, I'm sorry. The opposite way. In Asia they give easier, I think, higher reviews because they don't want to upset you. But in the States, they don't really care about it, so they give you easier bad reviews, if I remember right. But the point is, whichever way it went, the discrepancy is in the fact that what kind of people give reviews. So in Finland, you're easy to see 5-star reviews. Oh, I had really exceptional service, and 1-star review. Very like seldomly when you scroll through reviews, you get like, oh, this was good, but it was an average experience. Like people don't too much talk about their average experiences.
Oh, that's also true. And then another common Finnish thing, I think, is the mentality of I gave you 4 stars because there's still like there's always some room for improvement.
Yeah, exactly. It was perfect, but it was perfect, and it was probably the best I've ever experienced. But it could have been better on a theoretical level.
Yes. Yeah, I'm only giving you 4 stars so that you know that you can actually do even better than me. You can surprise me even like bigger next time.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Yeah. So then moving on to if you think Google reviews can be harmful for a business, because we've now spent a lot of time talking about the good stuff, but then there's also the bad stuff. So do you think it can be harmful?
Absolutely, and for the exact same reasons we just discussed before. If they boost your SEO or your CTRs, your potential buyers buy easier from you if you have good reviews. Obviously, having bad reviews affects the opposite way. So, you're not found so easily. People are not really impressed by your business or whatnot. But also, of course, the fact that there can be fake reviews or harassment from obviously on a big scale of having thousands of reviews, 1 or 2 bad reviews won't affect much. But for many businesses that are smaller, several bad reviews can drop down the kind of the overall rating, even though that they're not relevant. They're just a competition trying to kind of affect your rating levels. And of course, it's not. How can they also be kind of harmful is they're not like flexible as your guys' solution or many other solutions. You can use them in several ways. So it's kind of if you set it up wrong, if you don't ask for people to give you reviews and you get a bunch of bad reviews, they're kind of there. The first thing you see are bad reviews. You can't manage them that easily. So obviously there are also harm done for businesses due to that reason, like due to those reasons.
Yeah. Do you think what are the most common mistakes companies make related to Google reviews?
Believing that they're not relevant. So as we've discussed, they really are relevant for most people or for most companies. And believing that I'm local, people know me, people know I do good stuff. I don't need this. I'm locally known. Sure, that might be true in a way, but at the same time, would you get customers from out of country, out of city, out of state? Probably you would get a better, CTR, better customer kind of acquisition rate or whatnot if you were there. So not needing and benefiting are kind of really 2 different things. So that would be one thing. Another I would say is not taking reviews seriously. That goes obviously to every review, not just Google reviews, but overall, if you have a bunch of good ratings, again, thousands of excellent ratings and couple bad, of course, managing those bad reviews is important, but it becomes more important the more of those bad reviews you have. So if in all honesty you have a rating that's under 2 and you have several people complaining about your business or your service or your product, there is probably something wrong with them, with the product or service or something. And if you don't act based on people's feedback, you're not gonna offer upcoming customers or the existing ones too good of a service or product. So not believing that Google reviews are not relevant and not taking them seriously are probably some mistakes. And of course, what you mentioned before is spying reviews. That's against policies. That is not. That's just wrong in all kinds of counts and measures. So absolutely a mistake or a misconception. People think that having a bunch of reviews that are fake is good. Like they're not. get actual reviews.
Yeah, and actually people are gonna spot your fake reviews and they're gonna run away so fast. And then also in the States, I think the Federal Trade Commission actually made it now illegal, so you will get fined if you get caught by them. You will get fined for buying fake reviews. And then one thing I would also add to that list is not asking for reviews.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Like not having the process, because basically if you even have, like, let's say 5 bad reviews, and that's what is showing up on Google or wherever, the easiest way to make it good is actually to respond. Okay, that's another mistake. Not responding to your reviews. Not, it's bad. I actually look for bad reviews. I want to see how a company responds, because that's how I know that when things go south, because they will at some point to someone. Like, it might be me that they treat badly or something happens or whatever, but I want to know how they react. Like, if it's a really good response, I'm going to be like, okay, so this bad thing happened. They got a review, but they responded and it was all good. Like, they took care of it. But if they didn't respond, like anything, I'm going to be like, ooh, so if this happens to me, it's going to be bad, like actually bad.
Well, I'll kind of challenge you there. In a way, I agree. Managing and responding to reviews is important, but at the same time, for some businesses, highly regulated ones, or businesses that really get a ton of reviews, it can be a lot of work. So
True.
I believe taking an action of either really not responding to any of them, just letting it to be a kind of review platform. People can go look for reviews, and there's no like so-called damage control done in there. I think it's a decent approach. If you have resources to answer to each and every, that's also a good thing. But at the same time, if you only answer to good ones, oh, thanks for your review, and then ignore the bad ones, that's like the biggest mistake you can do, in my opinion.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, very true. I agree on that. But then I would like to see the answer to the negative one. So either like maybe consistency, like not being consistent is a mistake. So either you answer to each and every one, or you answer to none of them. Because I also think that's a fair point. Like, if you have masses of reviews flying in and you don't have the resources to answer to each and every one, just leave them as they are. And then I really need to add, if you use AI to answer to your reviews, please stop.
Yeah.
Please stop. Don't do it. It's like, rather not answer than use AI, because just no, it kind of takes away the point of being interactive when you're just using AI.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good. And then I would like to know if you have any example cases of where having more Google reviews or starting to collect them or what, and has brought in these measurable results, because I find it difficult to actually see that, oh, we got 5 more Google reviews this month. Is it affecting our scores or our results? I personally don't see it like that. But how do you see it?
Once again, I agree. I disagree, but I agree. Mainly, I agree with you. The fact is that we don't live in a vacuum or in an empty space. We're living in a dynamic environment where 15 million things are done at the same time. You're doing SEO at one point and Google at somewhere else, and like reviews and advertising there, and all kinds of things at the same time. So pinpointing that exactly these reviews, what they, how they benefited you, is impossible. But from the fact that kind of like the return on investment kind of point of view of this, the cost of asking for Google reviews is like not too high. You can literally get a link and send it to your customers, or put a QR code, or whatever you do with them. The point is that the investment or the cost is so low that the fact that if companies can improve their search visibility, their CTR, their SEO, get more traffic, more visible to their website, or more visibility to their business, that's a really concrete return on the investment of basically your time. And we're not talking about your time in tens of hours. We're talking about 15 to 30 minutes to set everything up max, like if everything else is set up in the background. So obviously higher conversion rates, assurance to the excellence of your services. People are easier to buy from you versus bad reviews. You can, find out you have huge gaps in your customer service or product or whatnot, and improving those can have straight benefits, straight returns on actually using time to see what the problems are. So for our customers, many of them, there are very concrete evidence of using feedback from customers to gain more customers, or to improve your own processes or customer journeys or whatnot. So it is measurable. It is not easily measurable, but on a long period of time, you can see the difference of doing it versus not doing it before.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, because earlier this year I did some interviews from different industries and how people see review collection. And one person said he was working with local companies, and he said that, well, just think about the fact that if you get one review per week, it's 52 reviews a year. And that's kind of what you're missing out on if you haven't set up this really simple and cost-efficient process of just asking for the Google reviews, and just not waiting for the reviews in general. So not just waiting for the unsatisfied customers to find you and write you a nasty little comment, but actually asking every single person that you interact with, like, how are you finding our services? And that can actually go a long way in building your brand and building your credibility. Because also one thing that I do as a consumer, or when I'm buying something, I look at when they were reviewed.
Exactly. And the fact that kind of the return on investment or the measurable results Google reviews have bought in can be measured, but also the fact of, like you said, not doing them. So if everybody else in your industry, your local businesses are doing them and you're not, sometimes not doing something will cost you more than doing something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But then proving that, like, convincing people to start doing that is also difficult. So it's like, it's very much about educating different companies and different industries on the importance of building this type of online reputation for the business is a struggle.
Absolutely. And I think the reputation word there is really important, because if you really want to dive deep into, you really want to buy something, but you're not sure how their customer reviews are, you will search Facebook and Google and other platforms of their reviews to see how people experience them, all over the place. So if you take your reviews on Google, but other platforms showcase your kind of like true colors, your reputation will suffer. So being consistent in other platforms as well, not just focusing on doing Google reviews is enough for making my brand pop up and the reputation to be great. It's just part of a big wheel that should be done. Like I mentioned before with social medias and websites, expectation that people can see how others view you, see your reputation, and if you don't have it, obviously your reputation isn't that big or isn't that good that you want to showcase it.
Yeah, true. And also one other thing about the return on investment on reviews is that once you have them, you can also like use them outside of the actual platform. So posting them on social media or adding them to your website will surely have an effect on the performance of your website and different channels.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they're kind of like your references, like not in the maybe traditional way of how B2B companies have thought about references, but that's what they basically are. They're just on a outside platform, like a third-party platform.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if somebody says, we rather do reference, we've seen better benefit of doing references on our website and customer stories. Again, why not do both? It's not too much effort to, do the Google reviews. It's a lot more effort to actually pile up stories of your customers and do reference stories and so forth to your website. You might as well, take 15 to 20 minutes for yourself and set up other things as well.
Yeah. So, but probably the biggest learnings everyone should take from this discussion would be to just automate the process of asking for feedback and reviews, and that will like future-proof your company and your online reputation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you ask from each people yourself, that's good. But let's say you ask from 10 people and 50% answer, you get five answers. But if you automate it to 100 people and 6% answer, which is a lot less, but it's still 6 reviews, so 1 review more. So it's easier to scale your operations in pretty much anything by automating everything that should be automated. So not responding, not using AI to respond to bad reviews is something you should not automate, but asking the reviews should be automated.
Yes, very true. Very nicely underlined, because I fully agree on not using automation in using AI in this sense. So keep the communication authentic with your customers. But this has been such a great and inspiring discussion. Thank you, Sakke. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for being our partner with GoSome. We're always happy to discuss these things with you guys.
Yeah, and it's so great. I'm actually learning so much from all of these talks that I'm doing. And now the final question is, how does one get in touch with GoSome? Should they contact you or someone else?
Easiest way to contact us is via our website, obviously. So GoSome.fi, GoSome.fi. You guys can call me. You can call our sales guys. You can call, pretty much anyone you want, anyone you think that's going to help you. So, don't hesitate to call us. We have, customers mostly in Finland, but we also operate in other countries as well. So,
excellent. Thank you so much for this discussion, and we are so happy to have you as one of our amazing partners.
Wonderful. Thank you, Erika, very much.